So issue number one a lot of people run into when they're doing the rotator cuff training is they can't fully activate it. And typically what you need to do is deactivate some of the opposing muscle or antagonistic muscles. So those are things like your pecs and your lats, especially for the rotator cuff. So what you need to do is release the pecs and the lats, okay? That's gonna allow the rotator cuff to function and do its job a little bit better. So you simply do that, foam rolling on the pecs, roughly 30 seconds to 2 minutes. Same thing, foam rolling on the lats, roughly 30 seconds, 2 minutes. Take your time, put in the work, go nice and slow, breathe. Let those muscles lengthen so that way you can actually get in, do some more effective and high quality work for your rotator cuff. Second big mistake is that we never consider your joint positioning. So again, this is a super important factor because your joint position is going to dictate what muscles function. And again, this is super critical because if it's like if you're starting a race, guys. So it's like if my shoulder is rounded forward and I'm trying to do my rotator cuff stuff here, I'm gonna be doing a lot more anterior deltoid, and plus my humeral head is gonna be sliding forward into my joint, rubbing, creating friction, causing pain, kind of wearing down your joint, as opposed to effectively and safely training your muscles. So position of your joint, also position of your rib cage, because again, everything from your core affects what goes on in your thoracic spine affects goes on at your humeral head. So all those things are critical and play a role not in just your training, but also with mainly all the exercises you really do. So position is really king when it comes to really any muscle training. So it's just a big one. A lot of guys tend to mess up when it comes to the rotator cuff, and you'll see this because they're very overextended. They have really too arched through the lower back and stuff like that. So we need to fix those when we get into your rotator cuff stuff, which is again, we got videos on that of how to properly progress that. So go over there and check that out after you watch this video. A third mistake is that they train the muscle to fatigue. So it's like they're trying to train it to get a really big pump or a really big burn in the rotator cuff, and you do not want to do that. The reason being is because your acromion arch, which is basically like your shoulder blade, it basically has like this little claw type thingy coming out of it. And so if this is the top of my acromion up in here, and this is the bottom of your scapula, a lot of people has a small acromion space. So we don't want any friction rubbing in through there. We don't want a hypertrophied or a larger rotator cuff muscle. We want it to be phasic and reactive, which we're gonna get to. So anyways, that's why you don't wanna strengthen and add size to your rotator cuff, because we need to keep that space open. Not that the space would open, but we don't want a huge muscle to fill that space. So that way we don't want the muscle to train to fatigue, to get that burning sensation, to make it bigger. We want it to train it just light and reactive and allow it to do its job. A fourth mistake, which a lot of people make, is that they try to do too much resistance or too much weight when they're doing their rotator cuff training. So again, what this forces you to do is it causes you to compensate. So it makes other areas of your body move. Again, more specifically, overarching through your lower back, getting things out of position, again, which we already talked about why that's important. So again, just do a small weight that you can feel, and you can be light and reactive and really, fling your rotator cuffs to let it turn on and do its job. Because again, no one cares how much you can PR with how much you can externally rotate with your rotator cuff. Again, it's not important, so make sure you're training smart. So what a lot of good coaches and therapists will do to make sure that we have a good position of like your joints, but also make sure the load is appropriate. That's why they'll sometimes put like a towel underneath their arm if you're doing like standing external rotations, so that way you don't drop the towel. You have to keep it kind of glued on your rib cage, and again, it's just going to help you get into that muscle a bit more effectively, and not making sure you're not using too much deltoid or other compensationary, I don't know if that's a word, compensating muscles or postures. And the fifth big mistake that a lot of people make, and what to do about it, is that they do not train the rotator cuff in a reactive manner. So again, this is a huge one, guys, because your rotator cuff is a phasic muscle. Basically, it means reflexive. So if I like drop something and I try to pick it up really quick, that's gonna be my rotator cuff snapping into action, recruiting without you really having to think about it, okay? And so a lot of people do the traditional kind of slow and kind of really feeling it in there, again, which there's a time and place for, but especially when we start ramping up towards in season, we just need to be light and reactive. So you can do things like standing dumbbell drops where you pull it out to the side, drop, try to catch it back up. You can do different stuff with the bands or having manual resistance and perturbations where you kind of trying to knock the guy's arm out of like the socket a little bit. Not too aggressive, but just a way to make the rotator cuff stabilize that humeral head onto your joint so you have nice healthy rotator cuff and you can freaking throw 90 and not get hurt. All right, so again, Josh from Athletic Preparation. Click like, subscribe, and also download your free workout below, guys, and leave us a comment. We want to hear from you, so let us know how your training is going.